Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Sorry for the super reflective sunglasses. I could not find my other sunglasses for the life of me today, and I have two pairs of them, so I don't know. But I am here in Seahorse Park, and that yellow house right there we just sold. So I'm actually here just to make sure it's locked up properly, close the windows, and get my sign out. But I thought what would be interesting is actually doing a little video tour of this house and this park, because what's unique about it, it's not necessarily a good thing, is that this park was underwater during those hurricanes that we had last year. So this particular house wasn't damaged as bad as some of the other ones were, just because of the type of construction done on it. I don't know. But I'm going to show you it just so you can see it and kind of talk a little bit about what happens when these homes are deemed substantially damaged, which, as you can tell behind me, I have two more clearly vacant homes. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let's go ahead and let me show you. Yeah, I didn't do a video tour of it previously because as this channel started growing, we actually already had a buyer for it. So anyways, let me show you outside a little bit. And, there are these types of properties available that are kind of considered substantially damaged and probably need to be torn down. But what's nice about this one is it does have quite a bit of space around it. So we have out back a couple sheds, a nice little patio area, and then we'll go inside, of course, so you can see the damage. This one also had a mini split system. I think it's so cute they have this little outdoor shower and everything out here too. They got a little mini split. So let's go ahead inside. So as we go in, it's very obvious where the water came up to in the home because there is a very distinct line. So some of the water damage was from that first Helene, some of it was from Milton. And of course we have some wind damage here, like a missing ceiling panel and stuff like that. So I know a lot of people are just kind of curious as to what these homes kind of look like inside. The nice thing about this particular one is it doesn't smell moldy at all. So again, you can see where that water line came up to. Dusty in here because of, they have the windows open just to keep it ventilated or vented. So yeah, so this is what one of them looks like. So you can see again inside how high the water came. And the sellers of this one took out a lot of the appliances. And so again, you're probably wondering why I'm showing you this. So the reason why I'm showing you what they look like inside is just to give you an idea again of how much the water came up, just because people are curious, but really to have a conversation about these homes, and if you were interested in purchasing one, what it would kind of mean for you. So quick little tour. Now let's talk about what it means for you if you were to purchase. So the biggest thing with this home is that it was determined by Pinellas County to be substantially damaged. So what does that mean? So there is a rule, there's a FEMA 50% rule, where if the cost to make repairs to the home exceed 50% of the appraised value of the home, and the home is in a flood zone, you have to bring the home up to current flood zone guidelines. So if, let's say, for example, the house is appraised at $20,000, because most of the value in these is going to be the land. And again, I don't know off the top of my head how much it was, but I'm just giving you an example. Then you can only do $10,000 worth of repairs. And if the repairs exceed that amount, then you have to, again, raise the home to current flood zone guidelines. The problem becomes, if you have a regular single family home, you can raise those. But most companies will not raise these because of their age and fragility. So it becomes a problem where it's I could fix it, but I technically can't fix it because of the, that 50% rule. And so, it ends up having to be torn down and a new one put on. So that's how we sold this one. We sold it as buyers are well aware that it was considered substantially damaged by the county. They could go ahead and try to change that designation, but we sold it super cheap. We had it listed for only $15,000. And so, it's one of those things that it's probably going to end up being a tear down, just because when you go to the county with your bid or your proposal to get these things fixed, you have to factor in fair market labor. So you can't just say, oh, I'm going to do the repairs myself and save the money. The county has to factor that in. So, like, I know what some people have done is they've gone and gotten second appraisals done on the homes. But again, that's going to raise your property taxes, right? So it's a whole interesting situation. You got to be really careful though. This is the biggest thing, because I've already seen some homes that that were substantially damaged, okay, that people have gone through and they've renovated and then they're selling. So if your property that you're interested in buying is in a flood zone, and you need to do the research, see if the community flooded during the hurricanes, especially in Pinellas County. We're in St. Pete right now. Make sure that house did not flood during the hurricanes. And if it did, you need to contact the county and see what the substantial damage designation was, because you don't want to buy something that was flooded and then not know about it, right? So the seller's supposed to disclose that, but I guarantee people are not disclosing it, or they're saying, oh, it was fixed properly or whatever. And it very well could have been renovated properly. But the issue still is, if that house was considered substantially damaged and they never removed that designation, then you could purchase that home and then the county could come in and say, hey, all these repairs were done illegally, and make you take them all out. And then you could be out of everything. So again, if you're buying a home in one of those flooded areas, please, please, please do your due diligence on it, because I don't want to see anybody get completely screwed because they didn't think about that. And like I said, I've seen other properties starting to be listed in flood areas. Newport Richey was a really bad flood area as well during the hurricanes. Do not buy a house unless you can verify that it was never considered substantially damaged by the county or the city. This is the Seahorse Mobile Home Park community, just in case you were interested in knowing that. And they do have this, maybe you can't, but there's lots of little fish in there. I was gonna say you could see. But they do have this canal that kind of goes through the park. And then right here, you also have the swimming pool. And I'll also show you a picture of the boat ramp and some aerial shots of this home so that you can see kind of the location and everything. It's right near Madeira Beach and John's Pass. It's a pretty cool spot. All right, guys, well, thanks for joining me today. Like I said, I know this one already sold, but I just thought it would be interesting to show you a hurricane damaged home and then talk a little bit about the whole FEMA 50% rule and stuff like that. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment. And I also had put a post up saying that probably starting on Thursdays at 6 p.m., once we hit like 2,500 subscribers, I'm going to start doing like a weekly live video. We can get a lot of your questions answered. So if you have more questions about the FEMA stuff, please feel free to save those questions for that time as well, and I can answer them live to the best of my ability. I don't always have all the answers, but it's something that if someone asks me something and I don't know, I usually try to look it up as well. So thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next home. Bye bye, guys.